Interstate 520. Yeah! Alright, it's been a minute since we've done a proper interstate episode. So today we're talking about Interstate 520, a beltway unlike any other. Yes, that's right, we are covering Augusta's own Interstate 520 just in time for the Masters Golf Tournament. You see, I came dressed for it. I got my Titleist shirt. So let's talk some Augusta National and I-520. I-520 is a weird bird. It has a lot of weirdness to it. So we see the route of Interstate 520 loops pretty widely around Augusta, and it's a odd digit number, yet it's a loop. So you don't see that very often. You'd think they would go with an even number here, but they didn't because they built it a little piecemeal, so we'll see that as we go. You're watching Control City Freak. This is the YouTube channel where we talk about highways and the places that they're signed to go to. If you dig this kind of content, why not give us a like? And if you really like it, why not subscribe? Yeah, subscribe. We've also got a Patreon going where you can make exit requests. We've got Route 66 coming up, although at this point I think I'm probably done recording it by the time this video posts. I believe we'll be doing I-264 for the Kentucky Derby in a couple of weeks. You can also make exit requests the old-fashioned way by doing a $5 super like or super thanks on any comment on any video on this channel, and I appreciate those of you who have. All right, let's talk about 520 eastbound. So here we are on I-20 to the west of Augusta, and we see we are entering Richmond County and Augusta city limit all at the same time. We're making our approach toward 520, and we're getting the sign for Martinez, which actually is a different city that is northbound on the state highway, not on 520. Also, Daniel Field, Augusta Regional Airport, exit 196. Those are on 520. And here we've got our big overhead sign. We get 20 East Columbia and 520 Bobby Jones Expressway. No control cities given at all. And Augusta, we have entered the city limits, but we aren't downtown yet. If you wanted to get downtown Augusta from this point, you are better off staying on I-20, but they don't tell us that here. Coming in the other direction, it is 20 West Atlanta and 520 East Bobby Jones Expressway. And as soon as we get onto 520, we have an exit for Wheeler Road, and we get a pull through 520 East Columbia. Yeah, this will get you to Columbia, but if you wanted to get to Columbia, the best thing you could do is get off at this exit and go back the other way to I-20. It's a lot faster than going all the way around this loop. Next up, we've got Wrightsboro Road and Daniel Field, so Daniel Field coming up right away here. And now we've got a couple of highways here, US 78, US 278, and Georgia Highway 10, the Gordon Highway, Fort Gordon, this exit. At random interchanges, it is indeed 520 East Columbia, and at this point, it would still be faster to go west on 520 and go back to I-20 to get to Columbia. And here we get our first exit request. This is Deans Bridge Road, exit 5, and this was requested by Tim Bryant. So thank you so much for that request. I really appreciate it. This road was originally State Highway 232, and this is where it originally ended. State Highway 232 was renamed I-520 in 1977, so this would be the 1977 end of I-520. Next, we're getting exit 7, US 25 for Windsor Spring Road and Peach Orchard Road. So US 25, a fairly major US highway here in these parts. Now we're getting another exit only. There's a lot of exit onlys on this road for Georgia Highway 56, Mike Paget Highway. These are named after golfers. They're golfers I've not heard of. I imagine they're just Augusta hoi polloi. And now we get a fairly major exit for Doug Bernard Parkway and the Augusta Regional Airport. And this was the 1978 end of I-520. On the airport road, we're getting Augusta straight ahead and Atlanta straight ahead as well, and then you're going to turn onto 520. But there is no sign here for Augusta National Golf Course, which you'd think there would be at the airport, because I'm sure that is a major draw, Augusta National, and the Masters, I'm sure, is the busiest time at that airport. Next up, exit 16. This is Laney Walker Boulevard and Sandbar Ferry Road, Georgia Highway 28, and this would be the exit for Augusta National Golf Course and for downtown Augusta, but there are no signs telling us that. This was also the 1998 end of this road. And now we are crossing the Savannah River and leaving Georgia. And welcome to South Carolina. We get 2 South Carolina welcome signs right away. We were on the Bobby Jones Expressway. Now in South Carolina, it's called the Palmetto Parkway. And our first exit in South Carolina is for US 1 for Aiken and North Augusta. And this also is the exit for US 78 and 278. They don't tell you that though, which is kind of weird. And this would be the 2004 end of this road. On US 1 in South Carolina, we get 520 East for Columbia and Atlanta. So South Carolina admits that going right to I-20, which is much faster going eastbound than westbound, is better for getting to Columbia or Atlanta. Better signage. And we see we have just a couple exits left. South Carolina 126 is 2 miles away. I-20 is 5 miles away. And this is the first mileage sign we've gotten on this road. Here we've got South Carolina Highway 126, Clearwater Road. We will have one more exit for North Augusta, Edgefield, Highway 121 and US 25. And here is our exit, exit 22, and we see I-20 sign for Atlanta and Columbia is coming up in 1¼ miles. And here is our split for West 20 and East 20 for Atlanta and Columbia. Let's take a look at westbound I-520. Westbound I-20 is signed for Atlanta, and 520 West is signed for North Augusta and Augusta. And that's actually pretty good because to get to downtown Augusta from here, it is faster to get onto 520 rather than take I-20. Coming from the other direction, we get the same thing signed on 520. And once we are on 520, we get a nice water tower for the city of North Augusta, South Carolina. And here we're getting a mileage sign, US 1 2 miles away and Augusta 5 miles away. Although if you wanted to go to downtown Augusta, I believe getting off at US 1 actually is the fastest way coming from I-20. And here we see once again from US 1, East 520 Columbia Atlanta, because it's faster to get to I-20 that way. West 520 for Augusta, because you can get to Augusta that way as well. And we've crossed the river, and welcome to Georgia once again. Richmond County line, Augusta city limit. And right here we've got this Sandbar Ferry Road and Laney Walker Road, which is the other way, the fastest way from this part of 520 to get to downtown and to Augusta National. So let's get off. So we get off this ramp and we do see that there's a sign for downtown Augusta, turn right, but there is not a sign for the golf course. And here we are rolling through downtown Augusta. Looks pretty nice. And we get to the entrance to Augusta National at Eisenhower Drive, but we've just got a big fence and a big gate that we can't see through, so we don't get to actually see any of the golf course at all without actually going in. So we'll cheat and look at satellite view. So there it is, Augusta National Golf Course, the Masters. A tradition unlike any other. Going the other way, this would be the way to get onto 520 from Augusta National. And again, we just get East and West 520. We don't get any kind of control cities at all at one of the most important exits on 520. So that's pretty weird. Up a ways at another random interchange, this is about all we get. So Atlanta, turn right. Just these kind of not really standard signs that don't look like they are MUTCD compliant at all. We get back to Deans Bridge Road. Now we're getting West 520 to I-20, Atlanta. So that's well signed. I-20 is coming up in 5 miles. And Atlanta, it's angling toward Atlanta, and let's face it, Atlanta's a much bigger draw than Columbia. On the Gordon Highway, which is like exit 2, we're getting West Atlanta and East Columbia. If you wanted to go to Columbia, you're much better off getting on westbound 520 and going back to I-20. I don't know why they want to loop you around the whole loop so many times. This is really weird for Georgia. Really wish I hadn't given them a 2 seed in state DOT madness, but South Carolina did defeat them. We're nearing the end. We get Wheeler Road, Marks Church Road, and I-20 is going to be exit 1, Columbia, Atlanta. Now this makes no sense to me whatsoever. We have our exit for I-20 and a pull-through for 520 West Bobby Jones Expressway. But this is just like on I-78 in New Jersey, or I-76 in New Jersey, where we get a pull-through for no reason at all, because this is literally the last exit off of 520. In fact, here, when we're under I-20, we get an end 520 sign. So why have a pull-through for 520? Why not just make the pull-through for Highway 232 instead of 520? What are you doing? All right, well, that will end I-520, so let's take a look at Todd's the way it should be for this road. On I-520, I'm going to say westbound, it should be Augusta Airport. If you're going to sign up for something, Augusta Airport seems to be the only thing, because downtown for Westbound, you'd be either already coming from downtown on I-20, or you'd be better off staying on I-20. And then I would sign up for Columbia after the airport. Eastbound, I do think it's wise that they signed Augusta. I'm fine with North Augusta being on there too. But then once you get to the US 1 exit, you should sign it for Augusta Airport, and then finally sign it for Atlanta at that point. But not Columbia, Atlanta, just Atlanta. But once you're up a ways, Columbia, Atlanta too, because you're going to be faster to get on I-20. Alright, thank you so much for watching this episode of Control City Freak. I really appreciate it. We've got a big one next week. It might be an hour and a half long. I don't know how long it's going to be. We're going to try and do Route 66 Westbound all in one episode. I don't know if my computer can handle it, but we will find out. Anyway, up until then, thank you so much for watching Control City Freak. My name is Todd, and until next time, keep on trucking.